joining us today for Picture Book Chat. I'm Mary Ellen Brax. I'm the Public Services Manager for Early Learning, and I am in charge of all the programming for kids ages birth to age 8. And with me today, I have Sheri Boggs. Hi, Sheri.
Hi, Mel. Here we are again.
Here we are again. You just want to remind people what you do for the district?
Yes, I would love to. I'm Sheri Boggs. I am the Youth Collection Development Librarian for the Spokane County Library District, which is, I'm a buyer. And so I buy everything from 0 to 18. And my favorite thing to buy is picture books. So what Picture Book Chat is, this was a thing that Mary Ellen and I developed so that we'd have a chance to talk about all the hundreds of amazing picture books that we're getting in every month. There's way more than we could ever talk about, but this is a way to kind of showcase our favorites. So the way this works, I'll just go ahead and get started, but I will come in and have a little pile of books to share with Mary Ellen, and I'll talk about what I look for as a buyer. There are certain things that I'm looking for in terms of, is this something we can use for story time? Is this something that meets a need in our collection? You know, say people are looking for more books about, music for preschoolers. I look for things like diversity. And then most of all, I just look at, is this a successful picture book? Is this something that's going to be fun to share with kids? So my first one today is one that I'm really excited about, Mary Ellen. This is Blueberry Cake.
Ooh.
And as we're taping this isn't going to air for another month, but it is still kind of summer. It's early in September. This one really appealed to me because I think even though the huckleberries here have gone by, berries are such a big part of Northwest culture. And this book was inspired by the authors growing up in Maine, where blueberries are plentiful. But it's about this little bear who sets out one day to get blueberries. And I love the little details that make him come across as a child. He's got this red pail that he's wearing on his head. He's got all this youthful enthusiasm. I love this page, blueberries.
I love that page too.
I do too. It reminds me of going up to Mount Spokane this summer and realizing the huckleberries were in season. It was just like that. And I was kind of like this. I just wanted to eat everything that I saw.
Yeah.
And so that's what this little bear does. And then he gets distracted by a butterfly. I love that this section of the book is largely wordless. The story is basically, told in these panels, and you can talk about what is the little bear doing. So the bear gets home and he says, hopefully blueberry cake. And the mom's like, blueberries? Flowers? Blueberries? No blueberries. No blueberry cake. And I love this. This book is really kind of a gentle look at consequences. I love where he's in bed and you can even just see he's kind of disappointed. No blueberry cake. So this is really fun. I won't give away the ending, but I will say that there's a recipe for blueberry cake in the back, and it's a pretty easy recipe that you can do with kids. And I was thinking, if you've got any leftover huckleberries frozen that aren't enough to turn into jam or something, you could just turn them into huckleberry cake. So I just thought this was a lot of fun. It reminded me of Blueberries for Sale, which is, of course, a huge children's lit classic. Mary Ellen, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, this spoke to me. I mean, my family's from the East Coast. Going up to Maine is a very, it's just a memory for me. We didn't necessarily pick blueberries, but we did buy a lot of blueberries, I will say that. Where we picked blueberries, where I remember picking blueberries is Prince Edward Island. So I think everybody has kind of a berry picking experience. I know picking huckleberries is a big thing here. My daughter-in-law and her family do that a lot up at their property that they have up in the mountains. So I liked it for that reason. I love the illustrations. They're just so bright and bold and colorful. And I also like the fact that it was wordless, because you could ask the kids what's going on in the pictures. So this is one of those books I oftentimes think works well for toddlers and for preschoolers, because there's not so many words on the page for the toddlers and they're repetitious. However, for the preschoolers, you can really talk about what's going on in the picture and talk about some concepts and have them talk to you about what do you think is happening there? What do you see in the picture? So I really, really like that part of it. And I love the story about what inspired the book. I love the recipe at the back, because what a great thing if you could make something. I mean, for families, this is a great book that you can, do at home and then make the recipe and enjoy your blueberry cake, which is sounding really good to me right now, by the way.
Me too.
Yes. But I also thought you could use this as part of an introduction to a unit. You could use it as an introduction to bears. You can hear the dog barking in the background. So I apologize. And then you could use it as a food unit too. Like you could be talking about fruits and what else can you do with fruits? How do you eat fruit and that type of a thing. So I saw some extension activities. You could also pair it with some other kind of summary type books. One of my favorites is always Counting Your Way to Maine too. So it's another Maine book, I know. So, but you could just pair it with other books that have to do with the summer or have to do with, there used to be one, I don't know if it's still in print. It was about a bear that was picking apples and they made an apple cake.
Oh, I sort of remember that one. I'm not
Right.
sure if it's in print or not, but I know that one. It's a good one.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's other books that have recipes at the end. So you could do a whole cooking unit even and put it in with a cooking unit with some recipes, or you could pair it with the Wolf's chicken stew and how they make pancakes. And so there's a lot of different possibilities, but the illustrations were just gorgeous in here. And so I really liked it.
Oh, good. I'm glad this is one that you feel would work with toddlers, because that can be sometimes tricky when we're looking at picture books.
Yes.
And you said that without me remembering that I wanted to ask you about it. So I'm glad you mentioned it.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Well, I've got another one that's pretty seasonal, and this one's for a little bit older kids, but it sounds like school spirit. I'm trying to get the glare off of there. And that immediately makes me think of that old cheer, not that I was ever a cheerleader, too clumsy. But at football games, it's like, we've got spirit. Yes, we do. We've got spirit. How about you? And then you point to the other side of the gym. And so I had that in my mind as I was reading this book, and I think it has a great cadence to it. But here on the first page, it says, we say book, you say bag, book, bag, book, bag. And so it kind of shows this diverse classroom of kids, like coming to school, what they bring to school, where they put their stuff when they get there. They've got like their little lockers. On the next page, raise your hands and move your feet. That's the spirit. Find your seat. And so it kind of shows kids, this is what it is to be in a classroom. These are the kinds of things that you're going to be doing that day. These are the expectations that we're going to have for you. Like it's a welcoming place, but there's also like a proper place to sit. And, there's a way we do things. We raise our hands when we want to talk. And it keeps that cheer going throughout. I'll do it right this time. We say desk, you say chair, desk.
Chair.
Desk.
Chair.
I messed that up the first time. So the whole thing is great. And there's little details to look for. Like you start seeing this little white rabbit in all of the pages. And as you go, you realize he's the classroom pet. And so there's lots of fun stuff to look at. I love when they're helping out from A to Z, you can see the blocks make a little Z, and they've got like a little fire truck and a space shuttle that make a Z. So lots of fun to look at. I also feel like the illustrations are strong enough to share with a book. You might have a better feel for that, Mary Ellen. But I was also thinking of like the cheering aspect we were just doing. At what age could you expect kids to be able to do that? Like, could you do that with a preschool book, or is that more of a?
No, you could do that with a preschool book.
Cool.
So you might have to do a little bit of coaching and setting the stage, that scaffolding, and do some practice beforehand. For me, it kind of reminds me of that military thing too. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a bad connotation, but for me, it's just kind of fun.
Mhm.
Just like, sound off, 1, 2, 3, 4, that type of a thing. But it's a great way to get kids to participate in the book with you. So there's something for them to look forward to and be able to participate with you. I love the rhyming in it, so it has a nice cadence to keep the kids going through. I would definitely say this is preschool and kindergarten age. Great introduction to the classroom and that there's routines. But one of the things I really liked about the book was the ending where they say, "Let's go team." And then they go brains on, hands in, our school for the win. And I like
Yeah.
the hands there showing. And then I liked we've got class from start to end. That's a promise. And then it goes on to say friend to friend. You might think it's going to say the end, but it goes friend to friend. So I really like, it kind of gives the impression of establishing friendships while you're at school. So I like that. For activities for this book, I mean, this is a great introduction, especially if you're, it's the first or second day of school, to get the kids into this. I think it would really, the kids would have a lot of fun with that back and forth call too, and having them participate. But just that you're emphasizing at the very beginning, teamwork and friendship, I think that would be a really good thing, especially since the kids haven't been together over the past year. The more I was thinking about that, I mean, towards the end of last year, they were together, they were in school, but I mean, it just solidifies that, yes, we're at school, we can all be friends, we'll have that teamwork. And I think that's a nice way to start off the year. I'd be interested to see what some teachers think about that. And I think that just that schools spirit is really fun too. So, I mean, it may not appeal to everyone, but it could be a good introduction for kids that, are a little bit more active and they're a little bit more reserved about starting school. This might give them, it might ease their fears, I guess, and make them feel comfortable.
Well, and I was thinking about when this is going to air, which will be more towards October, but I was wondering if this book would still be useful if, there are sometimes kids who have reluctance about school or have trouble kind of picking up the rhythms of the classroom. If this could be useful to kind of reinforce, like during the day we do this and we do this and it's all about teamwork. And does that make sense to you, Mary Ellen?
It does. I mean, because a lot of times you have kids that start the school year late or they've moved, and so they may be starting a new school. This would be a good way to introduce that too. And I think even for maybe they're starting childcare for the first time, this might be a good one to read too. So it's not necessarily this childcare setting, but it is a more of a school setting, so that might help too, and just to have some fun with it. And I think it would be a good one for teachers if they wanted to introduce that concept of teamwork and friendship too. Even after they kind of get their routine established, the kids can say, oh yeah, this isn't, I mean, there's other places establishing routines also, and so they've even written a book about it. And maybe that would be helpful.
Yeah. Speaking of fun, I just noticed on the back, the author and illustrator, it's their like elementary school photos. It's super cute.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I just love touches like that.
And did you notice on the very back, it says 3 cheers for wonderful teachers and new friends.
I just noticed that.
I thought that was great too.
Yeah. This is a nice package.
And it's a nice shout out for our teachers that have been working so hard over the past 18 months. So
yeah,
it's just, yes, our teachers deserve a good shout out. So I like that one. I thought it was a fun one. And I'm all about the fun and the bright pictures, and I love that the classroom was diverse, and so these fun, bright, colorful picture books are really appealing to me right now.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're setting me up for my next book. Speaking of
Yes.
bright and fun and colorful, my next one is We're Going on a Pumpkin Hunt. So right away, this appeals to me as a buyer, these bright colors. I feel like this would work with younger kids. The shapes are kind of blocky and simple and easy to see. And it piggybacks on a more well-known story, which is We're Going on a Bear Hunt. And a lot of kids have probably, already heard that one a couple times or two.
Yeah.
This one starts out, we're going on a pumpkin hunt. We're going to find a big one. What a beautiful night. We're not scared. Uh-oh. Cats, watchful green-eyed cats. Can't go over them. Can't go under them. Can't go around them. So the whole book is like that. They encounter different spooky things. I love the opportunities for sound in this book. As you turn the page, all the cats are meowing. On another page, it's cobwebs and you have to like swish them away. So there's great movement, great sound. And I love the prepositional phrases of like over, under, and around. It's a great way to kind of introduce those concepts, I think.
Definitely. This they're math words. So
yeah,
it's a math book without being a math book,
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love this page with the bats.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like the page turning dynamic in this book, it's exciting for kids to wonder what's next when they see, like a big crazy page full of bats or spiders or whatever. I'm not going to give away what I just turned to, but yeah, this is a lot of fun. What did you think of this one, Mary Ellen?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. If you're into Halloween, this was a really fun book. And I love anything that rhymes. That We're Going on a Bear Hunt has always been one of my favorites because you can get the kids participating. Even the toddlers would participate in this. And I like the fact that it says we're not scared, but there's nothing on the page that's really scary in this because they're blocky and kind of fun, cartoony pictures. I really did like that. And I love the fact that you can work on verbal skills. You can work, because I can do the chant with you. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. We can't go through it. And then, and so they can say that all with you and then do the motions as they swish through the cobwebs, swish, swish. So yeah, some fun vocabulary in there. And I like the motor skills. Anytime we can introduce some motor skills in there and get the kids moving is really fun. Now with older preschoolers, you could make up other verses. What else might you see and try to come up with a rhyme there? So what other Halloween things can you think of? They could do something about a skeleton. I mean, and I love the end, and I will give away the end of it. We're going on a bear hunt. They get scared at the end and then they go running and then you go back and do all the motions over again and all the sounds. So that's fun too. And it works on those recall skills, those storytelling skills that you go backwards with that. So it's a fun one where I think a lot of times you'll see the kids doing it themselves too. I've read it a few times. So, just a fun, happy book. It just it's always fun when there's a new holiday book out that's kind of that is fun to use with the kids and that you can recommend to families to use. We don't necessarily always do them in story time. Just because we have so many people with diverse backgrounds that not every holiday is everybody's cup of tea or so, but this one would, be a fun family read, or if you're doing, going to a Halloween party and needed an activity for kids, if we get to do Halloween this year. So, it's just was one that definitely caught my attention as it came in. I also adore because and you can talk about fall with this book too, because you've got the leaves here and you can start talking about fall, which, you know, usually you start talking about fall in October
Mhm.
anyway. So I think it just works in nicely with the unit if you know, if you're doing something at home to supplement what the kids are maybe getting in preschool. This would be a fun one to use.
Yeah. Yeah, and I often hear from our staff in the libraries that families around this time of the year are often the families that do observe Halloween. Often they're looking for something that's Halloween themed, but not super scary. And I
Yeah.
think this is perfect. I
Right.
mean, it's kind of got the traditional Halloween characters in there, like a skeleton, a mummy, a witch, but they're so appealing and friendly. Like this is one that's fun without having any real spookiness to it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well,
and that always works well with preschoolers. You know, we
mhm,
don't want things that are too scary.
right. Okay, so I've got another Halloween one,
Yeah.
and this also builds on a familiar, um, well, a familiar song in this case. This is The Wheels on the Bus at Halloween. And so this, of course, is based on The Wheels on the Bus. Immediately, I'm drawn to the die cut cover. So you've got like the windows of the bus here, and then when you have it shut, you can see all these different Halloween characters riding the bus. Again, bright colors. I love a book that begins with a map. You've got this little
Yes.
Halloween town that the bus is going through. So as you're reading it, you can maybe refer back to the map and, you know, where are they now? Let's ride the bus on Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Let's ride the bus on Halloween. Who will we find inside? So it works even if you know the song, even if you don't know the song.
Right.
And actually, it's funny. I have two very mild criticisms of this book, and I want to talk to you, Mary Ellen.
Same. Yeah, because I had.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one is if you do know the song, the cadence gets messed up. Like it doesn't entirely match because when you sing the song, it's like the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town. And this ends with the ghosts on the bus go boo, boo, boo on a spooky Halloween. Like it's hard to figure out where to land the syllables. So it still
I'm
fits
right there with you. I kept
yeah.
singing it. Luckily, I wasn't alone in the house, or my family would have thought I was nuts because it's like the ghosts on the bus go boo 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 boo. The ghosts on the bus go boo 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 on a spooky Halloween. So that's how I was coming up with it. But they could have just left out spooky and just said on Halloween
Yeah. I think
all
that would have
around the
worked.
town.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the same syllables. So yeah.
Yeah. So that was tricky. My second one, and it'll be interesting to see if you picked up on this too, Mary Ellen, is as they're going through the town, they're picking up first it's all these ghosts, then it's all these witches, then it's all these bats, and then it's pumpkins, and then you turn the page and all of a sudden it's candy. And it's like you can see one ghost, two ghosts, maybe a witch. It's kind of like, where did everybody go?
Oh, no, I didn't
So,
pick up on that.
you know, and maybe I was quite possibly overthinking it. But as I was going through the book, I was expecting it to build and to find the bus more crowded as everything gets on. And I guess what's implied is maybe the bus is stopping, like letting creatures out. So there's room for the pumpkins or whatever. But it's funny, as an adult, I found that super distracting. I don't know if kids would even notice.
Probably not.
But it's still a lot of fun. Tell me what you thought, Mary Ellen.
Yeah, and yeah, I thought it was a really fun book. And I think you're right about the stops because it ends with next stop, your house there. So no, my thing was because they didn't repeat that first verse.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
ride the bus on Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Let's ride the bus on Halloween. Who will we find inside? And you know, I kind of expected that to repeat with everyone.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I thought that. That's not how the original song goes, but I thought that might have added to it too and kept the tune going a little bit. But no, I thought the colors were really bright. It is a tad busy.
Yeah.
But I just thought it would still be really appealing because you've got some motions that you can do. The kids can say when the bats go flap, 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 they can do that
Mhm.
with, they can say it with you and they can act out the motions too. And when the pumpkins on the bus go trick or treat, that's kind of fun too. They can say trick or treat with you. The candy
Mhm.
does crunch, crunch, crunch. So I, I just thought it would have a lot of kid appeal to it
Yeah.
for a fun story. But yeah, just I think the biggest thing for me was still getting over on a spooky Halloween. It just seemed like one too many syllables for me. But I would just kind of leave out spooky or just kind of shove it all together so that it works. So, but I love on the front of the bus that's going to Spooky Town.
Yes.
But again, it's made so that it's not really scary
Yeah.
creatures to the little guys. So, and this is one that you could kind of use with toddlers even
Mhm.
because of the song, and it keeps going. I find
Yeah.
anything with music or a repetitive cadence, even if it's a little bit longer, will draw the toddlers in and keep them engaged, especially since you're doing different movements and you're changing
Mhm.
what you're doing. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't remember seeing last year's fun Halloween stories coming through, but I could have just missed them too.
Well, and I didn't order as many as I normally do because I was never sure whether we were going to be open or not.
Right, right.
Um, like around
Yeah,
the time I start looking for them, we hadn't been open that long and
right.
cases were rising. So, um, yeah, it was hard to know whether or not to just get them, even though our libraries were kind of crowded because
Mhm,
stuff wasn't checking out. But
right.
yeah, and some of the things I've ordered for this year were actually like 2020 releases
Mhm.
that we didn't get last year.
Oh, neat.
So we might have extra this year in terms of
Yep.
Halloween.
Well, and now it's great because we are open, so people can come in and pick out their own books.
Mhm.
And so even if you choose not to celebrate Halloween, we have lots of really nice fall books
Mhm.
too. So I think last year we did do Kevin Hanks, the
Yes.
fall one that was
Mhm.
so nice, where he had a summer, spring, winter, fall book. And so I
Mhm.
love that fall book too. That would be
Yeah.
another recommendation I have if you're looking for a fall story. And the
Yeah.
summer one ends with a page at the end that's leading you into fall. So
Mhm.
it's fun to kind of read them together if you're doing one on seasons. But I thought you picked out I mean, it was so hard to narrow it down to just 4 for this episode. So
Yeah.
um
It's
but
hard every time.
yeah,
There's so many great things coming out.
but we were thinking ahead. So, we knew with, Halloween coming up and when and it would come out in October, that might be a,
Mhm.
a good thing to show people. So yeah, another fun half an hour talking to you, Sheri, about books. It's so much fun to do. So
Mhm.
yeah, usually we
Yeah.
get to do this by the bookshelf, but we've
But
got a
some
little
days
bit,
no.
yeah, we've had a little bit more opportunity to do that, but
Yeah. Yeah. And it's wonderful to see more and more families coming back to our libraries and leaving with huge stacks
mhm,
of picture books. It does my heart good.
yes.
So everybody come check these out.
Yeah,
They're available in our libraries right now.
yes.
So yeah,
Thank you for joining us today. So we hope you have a good month, and we will see you next month with another picture book chat. Bye, everyone.
bye.